melon season right now, and we are talking about cantaloupes today. When I'm at the grocery store or the farmer's market picking out a cantaloupe, some of the things that I'm looking for is I want the more detailed lacing on the outside. That means it's closer to being ripe. And you can also, with cantaloupe, see that it kind of starts forming into these wedges. So that's something else that I'm looking for. You want a cantaloupe that feels heavy for its size. So you don't want it to feel very light for how big it is, because that means it's just full of seeds instead of having ripe flesh inside. And then something else I'm looking for is pushing on the stem here to make sure it's not too soft. So right here where the stem is, if you smell that, it should smell like a cantaloupe too. So sometimes it's kind of hard to tell in the grocery store, but it should smell sweet. The thing that I always notice is once I bring it into the kitchen overnight, I can always tell if it's getting overripe, because as soon as I walk into the kitchen, I can smell it start to get a tangy smell. So you want to make sure that it smells sweet and like a cantaloupe and it hasn't gotten over ripened and smells tangy. When you're at the store, you want to feel around it and make sure that there's no soft spots. You can't push down anywhere on it. And after I bring it home, to help with not having any soft spots, is every couple days I will roll it around. So wherever it's sitting on my counter, I will make sure that I move it so it doesn't get bruised and soft spots where it gets overripe. So I don't always cut my melons until they need to be cut when I bring them home, since I only go grocery shopping once every 3 weeks. I am able to get enough fruit and fresh produce. I don't have to go to the grocery store very often. But if I'm getting things like cantaloupe, honeydew, and watermelon all at the same time, normally the cantaloupe is the first thing that I'm going to cut because it ripens the quickest and will spoil the quickest. That's the one that I encourage my family to eat first, and then we will spread them out, and I will do the honeydew next, and the watermelon will actually have the longest shelf life of either staying fresh in the pantry or in your refrigerator. If you want to learn more about keeping watermelon longer term, make sure to check out the watermelon video linked in the description. Before we cut into the cantaloupe, we want to make sure that it is clean. So we're not eating the outside of the peel, but it could still have harmful bacteria on it. And how I clean items is putting, well, especially if it's a large item like this, I will use a stock pot instead of a bowl. And then that way I don't have to keep rotating it around in the water. But I'm going to put the cantaloupe whole in the stock pot and fill this up with water, and I'm going to add about 1/4 cup or a little bit more of vinegar. So depending on how much water I put in here, it is 1/4 cup of distilled white vinegar. That's 5% to 10 cups of water that you'll be putting into your pot or your bowl, and you want to soak that for 2 minutes. If it is floating, you do want to tap it around so all sides are getting washed. And that way, even if you're cutting off the rind, when you're slicing your knife through the peel, it's not putting any bacteria inside on the flesh that you're going to eat. All right, with any melons, I try to cut off the ends first. So that's what I'm going to do. Just a little bit so it exposes the orange. One end, 2 ends. And then I can set it upright, and I'm going to peel. I'm going to peel the cantaloupe. Oop, there it goes. I like cutting it this way with the end exposed, and that way I can see exactly where the rind ends and where the flesh, the inside, begins, and then I'm not wasting cantaloupe. Yep, see, I got a little bit of the green, so I'm going to go back in. I'm going to flip it over and finish it off. Okay, I have the peel off of the cantaloupe, and I am going to cut it in half. I normally cut it lengthwise here, right? That's what you call it? Cut it lengthwise. Nope, I didn't do it straight. Okay, these seeds I'm going to scoop out and put in a bowl, and we're going to give those to the chickens. But I just use a large serving spoon and scoop these right out. So now that the seeds are out, I flip it back over so we have the flat surface is down on the cutting board, and then it won't wobble as much. And then I'm just going to go in and cut slices. This is how my family normally likes them, just like this, because we call them smiles, not wedges. So they like holding them up to their face and calling them smiles at our house. We can leave it just like this to keep them in those smiles. Perfect smile. Or we put it back together and go this way, and we can cut it into pieces. I'm going to take this cantaloupe and put it in this glass container. This is how I store it in the refrigerator. And you do not put a paper towel at the bottom. Oh, here's a tip for you. I do keep some of these as smiles and will add them to this container, because you can always cut these smaller, but if you have a little that wants a smile and you don't have it, you can't make it bigger again. Okay, so we have the cut ones at the bottom, and then I have some wedges here on top, but no paper towel, and you're gonna put it in a glass dish with an airtight lid. If you see any juice that's starting to accumulate at the bottom of the container, make sure you just strain that out. Cantaloupe won't give off as much juice as watermelon does, but it does help it to stop that fermenting, tangy kind of taste if you keep that juice drained off. So no paper towel, in a glass dish, in the refrigerator, and it should last another 10 days to 2 weeks. Thank you for joining the Cross Legacy. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we have videos for almost all of the produce items, and if you like written instructions, there's also a book that's linked in the description.